Hello everyone, in this video we're going to show you the step-by-step process of how we made our DC motor powered whale automaton with magnetic switch DIY project, as well as the materials we use and an explanation of how the device works through the concept behind it, together with all an overall conclusion. The materials needed that were used for our DIY project are: for the whale model, we used balloon stick and barbecue stick, which serve as the hinges for the whale to move. We also used a printed whale model, steel wire, and illustration board. As for the DC motor, rubber band and battery were used in order for the whale model to work and move. Lastly, for the magnetic switch, we used copper wire, magnet, and aluminum foil.
The explanation of the process of making our DIY project will be divided into 3 parts, with the members taking part into different roles and tasks in order to help one another and for the work to be divided equally. The first part is making our platform and stands for the whale using illustration board. In this part, the first step is cutting some part of a 1/2 illustration board and use it as the platform for the project. Then after that, the next step is using what was left on the illustration board to use it in making a stand, wherein the stand will be used later for attaching the whale to the platform. The last step for this part is using stick glue to make sure that the stands will be durable and stay at the right places. We also cut some pieces of steel wire, which is also important in making the whale model move. The second part is making the whale model. The first step is cutting the printed model of the whale and dividing it in different parts. Then after that, the next step is making a hinge for the divided parts of the whale using balloon and barbecue sticks. This will result in making the whale move smoothly. Step is attaching the whale to the stands using the steel wires that were mentioned earlier in the first part of the process. Then after attaching the rubber band and the makeshift wheels, the wheels are finally able to move. last part of the process is making the magnetic switch, also called as the reed switch. The first thing to do is attaching the copper wire to a small wooden platform. And then after that is placing the neodymium magnet at the top of the copper wire. The next step is cutting a small piece of aluminum and place it in the platform together with the copper wire and neodymium magnet we work on in the first step. The third step is connecting the wires and the DC motor all together. After all the components were connected to one another and another magnet is placed at the top of the neodymium magnet, the magnetic switch will turn on and a current is produced, which will result to the activation of the DC motor, and because of that, the whale will finally move and demonstrate a swim-like movement. The crafted whale is mechanically automated using the principle of automaton. The gears, folded steel wires are mechanically powered by a DC motor, which gives motion to the mechanism. The DC motor's shaft is connected via rubber band to a larger gear to control the rotation speed. The electrical flow of the DC motor is controlled by a magnetic switch which breaks the circuit and is controlled by the principle of magnetism. Specifically, the principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, which is the creation of an electromotive force by way of a moving magnetic field around an electric conductor, and conversely, the creation of current by moving an electric conductor through a static magnetic field. In this case, an electric current was induced in a wire in a closed circuit by simply moving it across the magnetic field. In our project, a magnet which possessed magnetic field was moved close to the copper wire, which resulted to an induced current within the wire. Because of that, the DC motor was activated, which has also caused the swim-like movement of the whale. In conclusion, electricity and magnetism always go hand in hand. Magnetism can be created through the presence of electricity, and at the same time, electricity can be created through the presence of magnetism, as what we emphasize in our project. With the application of electricity and magnetism, we can produce varied types workings from appliances and vehicles to the machine we use in our everyday lives. It won't be exaggeration to say that electricity and magnetism is already an integral part of our life.